everyone. Thank you so much for watching episode 20. I don't know what episode this is.
Moral Dilemma.
Did we look at the clicker? Did
Yeah,
we
what
see- what's on the
episode is
clicker?
this? Episode 20.
Season 2, episode 5.
Oh, yeah.
But chronologically,
It's like
I'll find out here in 1 second.
Add 5 to your last number.
26.
I don't remember the last number.
It's like 30 something.
33.
33.
That's a good number. That's a
Yeah,
good number.
Good number.
Why is that a good number?
It's 5 more than 28. And 28 is.
And 3 is the number of the Trinity, and we have it twice, so it's like,
but 3 plus 3 equals 6.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh.
but we're not adding.
True.
6 is the
We're not
devil's
adding.
number.
My name is Ryan.
My name's Eric.
I'm Corey.
I'm Parker. The new guy.
Wait a
I
second.
need to make that a button on here.
That is right. We have Parker Cox with us. You may know his father,
My father.
Jeff Cox. Are you offended that we had him on here before you?
Definitely.
You should be.
I know.
You should be upset.
I actually didn't watch that just because I tried to tune in, but there was
like,
just too
"Oh,
much
it should've
shine
been
on
me."
the.
Oh,
There's just too
really?
much shine on the
Oh,
head.
roasting his
Ooh,
dad's
too
bald
much.
head.
Yeah, Jeff is the bald one, the only bald guy we've ever had
Only
on
bald
Moral
guy.
Dilemma
Baldism.
so far.
You call your dad Pops, right?
I do.
Do you ever
My
call him
pops.
Daddy?
Papa Bear? No. Never.
How long have you called your dad Pops? Like your whole life? Is that just what you always called him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Pops. Papa
like
Bear.
it.
Hey, what's up, Pops?
Yeah.
It's funny.
The occasional Big Poppy.
Big
Something like
Poppy.
that.
Yeah.
I like it when you call me Big Pop.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
that's,
All right, thanks
Maybe
for
a little
watching
less
this episode. We're gonna end it there. But no, thank you so much for being with us, Parker.
It's my pleasure.
Parker is a perfect person to have on this podcast.
Yeah.
He's a nerd, just like all of us. He also. Do we want to talk about this now? I kind of do. I'm getting
Yeah, let's
excited.
go.
What are we talking about?
Movies.
Your big,
The big idea.
the big M.
The big M.
So a
The
few months
movie.
ago, Parker came to us with this idea, and me, Adam, and Eric, and some other people. Corey, you'll be a zombie in it. But
I already
somewhere.
walk slow with a limp, so it'll work really well.
but Parker wanted to get rolling this idea that actually him and Eric. Actually, I think it was. I'm not the one to talk about this. I think you should cover this. I'm just here for the ideas. I don't know who started this.
Well, it was kind of an idea. I don't know. Maybe Parker could fill out the details about when he heard it, but I've shared several years back about this idea of creating a zombie movie that's a Christian zombie movie, and the whole idea. Well, I don't want to give too much away, do I? We
Yeah,
don't
let's
really want to give
let's,
details.
let's
Spoiler
save the
alert.
plot
Yeah,
stuff that we
spoiler
have.
alert. But
Because
there was,
we've been working on writing this.
it wasn't just to create a zombie movie. It was actually to have some depth to it, to have some meaning to it. So, yeah, he heard that idea, and I don't know, Parker, why don't you fill in the details about what made you start kind of like, this is something I'd like to be interested in doing.
Definitely. So the past year or so, I've been really feeling led to, in some fashion, whether it's photography or filming or something like that. I feel like God's been calling me to this certain area to show kind of witness to people and more than just the usual aspects that they would think of. And so it was when we first started coming to Porterfield, I think, or whenever you guys started to invite us to Sunday nights.
Yeah, we didn't invite you for a long time.
It hurts.
They had to go through a rigid
had to earn
application
that
process.
I had to cross the border and all this fun stuff just to get there.
Which isn't fair because you should have just been like grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have just always been there.
Well, I think part of it is because he went to a different church there for a
Yeah.
little. I mean, not that should separate us, but
Yeah, we don't like people from
Just,
other churches.
but when we talked about it, like when we talked about hanging out and stuff, they weren't there to hear us talking about
yeah,
it. So.
exactly.
True.
But go ahead and tell us the rest.
Anyway, so I heard your idea about the Christian zombie movie, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. And
So that was just months ago then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought
It
this was
probably
something I
what,
shared with you.
2 months since you contacted me, I think.
yeah,
Maybe a
it's something
little
like
more.
it was like the
Yeah.
Was this early in
Because
the
you
summer,
texted
though?
me individually too. I didn't know what order you talked to everybody, but
Yeah, I texted you two about the same time,
and
then-
I was under the impression you were going to keep this a secret from Eric as long as possible. Like that's what you were going to surprise him or something like that. But then I'm like, man, that's going to be
The
tough knowing
scandal.
how to do this without him finding out.
that'd be a little rough.
But what was cool is you actually approached me on Sunday morning and just shared the different people that you'd already asked to work on it, and that's cool because, you know, one of the things I do have certain ideas, but I think I'm kind of been gifted too, to where I just like to see people kind of do things and kind of give people, not that I always have to have everything put together.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of times I'm kind of visionary in the
Yeah.
sense that I share ideas, but then there's a lot of people like you guys, like Parker here, who can fill out the details
Yeah.
and say, okay, let's see what this is, and maybe I can come along and some way help, but I don't have to be the front guy.
Yeah.
That's good.
So go ahead.
So you had that idea. I'm like, I dig it. We're gonna work on that. And then so I started
He put it in
watching
motion.
put it into motion. Started watching a couple zombie movies just to get an idea because it'd been a minute, and just been working on details. And I talked to these two goons. And
Hey,
I do have one question. If you've
that's the question.
been watching zombie movies, do you have an idea for the style of zombie you're going with yet? Because they're like the
We do.
old-fashioned, like slow
is
zombies,
that
or they have
spoiler
like
territory?
I
might be.
don't think that's because you usually find that out pretty
Yeah, you
quick.
find
like
that
there's
in-
like the runners and the
Let's
screamers,
just
or
say
there's
that
like the
Parker-
slow.
Well,
movie.
there's
On
a
our
unique
first-
approach.
On our
That's a
first
unique
meeting,
approach?
Parker
Okay.
came with us with a huge list
I did
of like
actually.
probably 10 different kinds of zombies, and we're doing and I'm so for it, doing a very unique turn on everything, and it's not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be like, it's not going to be cheesy, or at least we're going to try not to make it cheesy. It's not going to
Yeah.
be like a
Oh,
Godzilla.
that's
I
always the
understand
goal.
that.
That's always the goal.
It's always
It's going to
a
be
goal.
like it's
Not
going to be
cheesy.
like an indie zombie movie with a cool turn, to just kind of hook people into accidentally watching a Christian movie. It
Yeah,
almost
because
feels like.
the aim that we've talked about is we don't want to go like a full motion picture right now. We want to create a short film,
Yeah.
to where we can kind of work on the technique.
Show what
and-
we can do, because this is
show-
everyone involved. This is the first time we've done anything like
Proof
it.
of
Exactly.
concept film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proof of concept.
So we want to tell a story, but not to tell the whole story, because we want to maybe do a full version of this at some point.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, the idea was just to get a bunch of people together that have a passion for different aspects of the filmmaking process. Like Ryan and Adam specifically were the first two people I thought of because, you actually went to school for that kind of stuff.
And I'm just a loser for movies.
Exactly. And so here we are.
See,
So
this is
so
the
look
thing,
for
it's,
Parker Cut 2021.
Well, here
That
here's the-
implies that something bad's going to happen during the first time we film it. So
Let's just go ahead and name it first and get it out of the way, just in
All right,
case.
there we go.
Well, here's a couple of things that excite me about this. Is like I do agree. Like I think a lot of the Christian movies that we come up with or have are good, but at the same time they're kind of like, well, I'd say some of them try to push way too much stuff in on one movie.
I think a lot of them are cop-outs,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And I think that you can tell a story that's meaningful and powerful in a unique and different way.
Yeah.
And I actually think, like you mentioned, the hook comes into play to where it gravitates everybody. And everybody, just like most zombie stories, it still deals with humanity, right? There's a
Exactly.
human element.
Yep.
So even if you're doing something crazy like zombies, and then people are like, well, how can a Christian movie be a zombie movie?
Exactly.
You'll find out.
You'll find out. You'll see it. Hopefully it'll speak to you. And again, it's not something. We're just excited about the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
How it turns out.
it's just a ton of fun, honestly.
And
Right
Absolutely.
that's what's so cool is that I'm not going to get into this rabbit trail, but with Gaborum Studios and the Hold the Past film, that was a proof of concept, meaning
Yeah.
they're going to take this amount of money and effort and energy, try to provide some good content, and then see what it comes. And the way they're doing it, and I remember the director sharing a bits of that, of how the Christian movie industry, they have these check boxes that they have to conform to, or you have to feel like you do. Well, there's a lot you miss out of that, and that's why some of them are okay.
That's why
some
they're
of
all
them are
cookie
not.
cutter.
And
Well,
so
because they're-
he was told that no one's going to pick this up because it does not fit those boxes. Well, that's why they're coming from a different approach to where they're not approaching it to Hollywood like a normal movie would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's so unique about this day and age is that we could go viral with this and not even talk to a company, you know what I mean? And we're
Absolutely,
getting
yeah.
the message that we envisioned out there without having to go through all those red tape. So that's what's so cool about this type of way we're doing it. And I don't know, it's just neat. The same way with The Chosen. The Chosen, if you ever watch it on YouTube, they try to break that mold, I think, of how they approach
Yeah.
and put this content out there. So I don't know. I'm fascinated by that.
Well, I think there's a lot of stories that can be told, and it gives me hope because there's other ideas I've always had that I would like to explore someday. But if they don't happen, it's okay. Maybe it was just meant for me to kind of explore those ideas. But
Like next Christian vampires.
no,
No,
just
we
kidding.
actually talked about on the Halloween
Revelation.
episode. We talked about the exorcism movie,
yeah.
but a Christian twist on it.
But even like,
crazy.
yeah, I'd like to explore Revelation more.
That
you
would be cool.
because there's a lot of things in there that could be explored. Like I have an idea about the two witnesses that are in there. That there's an angel that's sent to protect one of the mothers from so that the witness can be born because there's a spiritual warfare going on to
Yeah.
attack that baby.
See, I have one of those scripts in my office from when me and my buddy wrote one about Revelations years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. But again, I mean, whatever happens, it's cool, and I'm you know, it's amazing how God can use people, and just like you're saying, if God can take you and use you, and it kind of even just here's the thing I love about ministry, and just love about life, you know, maybe this is an opportunity for you to do more down the road. Maybe this is a stepping stone, and that's what I love about ministry. This is the relationship aspect of ministry that I treasure a whole lot when I think about all the things I've ever done with dramas at retreats or with events or things I've created. It wasn't just about the idea of it. It was about bringing people together and giving people opportunity.
Exactly.
You know, Adam sitting over there was a product of an opportunity. He had to play a blind man in a drama that he was psyched about. And
Now he's actually
so so there's all kinds of different things. And I think about like praise and worship and youth ministry as an opportunity for Ryan to get involved and be a part of that. So I just love seeing opportunities. That's why I love to see about Upward and Night to Shine and all these other things that we've done over the years is just to give people opportunity to serve.
I also
be a
think it's
part
been
of
really
something.
cool just to see, because Parker came up with this concept and he had written a lot of it, but he also was open for it's like a big collab. Like we've all kind of pitched out ideas and we've kind of started building this like world that I think is going to be really cool, like our own different spin on things. So I think I'm really excited to get the ball rolling a little bit more because I mean it's still pretty early stage. We've had
Oh, yeah.
It's
we've
been
had-
hard to do something from scratch like that in a
It-
different lens. Yeah, it's rough.
but it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
What are some zombie movies that you watched in preparation?
So,
And I also know that you watched a few non-zombie movies
Like
that
The
you wanted to
Shining.
vibe for. Like
yeah,
The Shining.
yeah, The Shining is definitely a vibe I want to hit. But World War Z is a classic. I really like it, and I like the movement, that type of
Yeah.
ideas and stuff like that. I did start The Walking Dead
There we go.
because iconic. You gotta.
I mean, I feel like at this point in zombie history, you have to kind of touch on that in order to just be up
Nope.
to date. Adam's
I'm
scared
okay.
of zombies, so
It's gonna be a hard
I
movie
would
to work
say
on.
the first 4 or 5 seasons were really good.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
Yeah.
kind of
I think
started
that
falling off.
seasons 1 through 4, I thought the first season was incredible of The
Yeah.
Walking Dead, but I also watched it back when I was like probably like 13. I don't even know when it came out.
it's been a while.
It's been a
Now,
hot
did you
minute.
watch Shaun of the Dead?
Oh my goodness, it's the best zombie
Did you watch
movie.
Dawn of the Dead? Have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen Dawn.
That's
of the
good.
That's a
But
good
Land
one.
of the Dead.
Dead. Land of the Dead.
There's a lot of them. I'm trying to think of. Yeah,
Well,
there's
well,
a lot.
well, not
I
to
Am
give-
Legend.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend is I guess you count that as a zombie movie. couldn't
Yeah,
you?
it's kind of like
It's like different.
it's like
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah.
zombie vampire-ish.
What
Yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses? That's not a full-on zombie, but I think you have to look.
That's
I
like a
can't remember
That's a Rob zombie
Yeah.
movie that has really nothing to do with zombies.
now. No, I thought there's. It's not like full-on zombies. I thought it had something to do similar to zombies, but I
might.
can't remember.
might.
I'll Google
That's
it.
an interesting movie. Interesting guy, Rob Zombie, and he's actually here today with us.
Oh, really?
So excited.
But yeah, we're really excited. Thanks for sharing that. I don't even think we should give out our potential name for it yet. We're still trying to nail that in, unless you're
Yeah.
confident with it.
No,
Let's
that's
hold
so
off.
low.
I
But
agree.
our
Actually,
last
the
meeting that
name
we
is
had,
one of the last things you should do.
our last meeting though, we made some good ground. I
We
think
did. Oh yeah, we gotta.
we might have
Kinda
to
up-
fill you in on
yeah, we have to
little
update you.
things, nothing crazy. We're instead of zombies, we're doing we're doing
My Little Pony.
can
My
choose.
Little Pony.
We're actually doing Enderman from Minecraft.
Yeah, we went with the Minecraft route with some Fortnite sprinkled in. But another thing I wanted to do, since Parker's here, as an initiation to be on the show, he has to give us his top 5 favorite movies of all
Top
time.
5. All right.
And we have to either, after this list, either kick him off or let him continue.
Okay,
That sounds fair. I
like
can live
this.
with that. I'm pretty set on my top 5.
All right, start with 5.
All right, number 5 is Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
The animated classic.
Yep.
I actually,
It's really
to be completely
good.
honest, haven't seen it.
Is that the one where Joker kills Robin?
Yeah. So it's probably one of the
Luckily, I knew
darker.
that.
Sorry,
Spoilers?
you didn't watch that?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I'll have to let you borrow it. It's great.
Okay. And I'll
It's
let you
super
borrow
good.
Parasite.
I thought you were
Sounds
a
like a
movie
good trade.
enthusiast.
I am. I'm an enthusiast on very specific genres.
Okay.
So
That's fair. That's
You got a
fair.
lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a lot of catching up to do. When I
Alright.
first met you guys, I
Well,
did.
you started like not knowing any movies, and then we kind of introduced you to a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You took off.
Yeah. I
Go ahead.
credit Letterboxd though
Yeah.
Definitely.
for spurring that.
Letterboxes.
Which I got Parker on
Beautiful.
Letterboxd. I think I got you. Was that me that got you
Yeah.
on Letterboxd?
It was
Okay.
definitely you.
Good.
So, that's a good movie. That's pretty intense.
It
It
is.
I'll
It's,
allow that. I'll
Yeah.
I'll check
Again,
that
it
off
goes
his
back to
approval
what we
list.
talked about earlier. Mark Hamill, one of the best Joker's voices.
I think that's easily one of my favorite performances of his because there was just so much at stake in that movie. I won't give spoilers away for you, but there's so much at stake. There's so much you see within the relationship of Batman, whether it's Bruce or Terry, and you see that relationship transcend through different characters through different times and stuff like that. You see that even though it's a different Gotham, different villains, you see that there's still some things that are still rooted within the characters that keeps it the same.
Yeah.
It sounds
And
dope. I need
it
to watch
does.
It's really good.
It's
I may
amazing.
have because there's a comic based off of it, right? Or
the,
was the movie based off the comic or the comic based off the movie?
the Batman Beyond show, I believe, came out first, and
Okay.
then that movie came out.
Because
and
I've
then the
read
comics
some
came
of
out.
a comic about Batman Beyond,
Yeah,
but I don't
comics
even know
are good.
Yeah.
But the show is the original where he debuted or whatever.
All right. Lit. All right. Number 4.
Number 4, 2001,
A Space Odyssey?
Yes, sir. Stanley Kubrick.
Lil Kubrick.
Yeah, Kubrick's my boy.
Have we all seen that?
I have not seen that.
That's one movie I don't think I have seen.
It's like I think it's 3 hours, maybe a little over
I think
3
it might be
hours.
over 3
Is
hours.
it
a-
like the AI thing where on
yes,
the ship?
Yes.
Hal. Yeah,
Yeah, I've never seen that.
It's a high concept kind of.
It was
a
a
very-
1970s movie, or
1960 something.
That movie that right there, 2001: A Space Odyssey, is the definition of being years ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
There are things that they do in that movie that I think that even movies now struggle to do.
Even the
I'll have to
CGI
watch
and
I know
the effects
it's
is
insane.
incredible. Yeah, the storytelling. Some find it a little bit slow. Like if you're not in it, if you just like a bunch of dialogue and stuff like
Yeah.
that, it's not going to be
It's
your movie.
definitely a movie that if anyone's gonna watch it, don't go in thinking it's gonna be like Interstellar or things like that, because that's how
Exactly.
I went into it the first time I watched it, and it's very much more of a high concept, like
Artistic.
almost artistic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'd say it's an artistic movie.
Yeah.
Like there's like a 15-minute long psychedelic sequence of just like really crazy animations
It's
and
amazing.
that is just kind of out of context.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it is the first time you watch it. And then there's like a baby and it's epic. It's so freaking cool. But yeah,
I'll have to watch it.
mad respect
is.
to Parker for liking that movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a visual storytelling. That's one reason why I really like it. It's one of my top 5, obviously, because I really like that visual storytelling aspect that you can tell a story in a movie without having to have characters speak or have characters constantly doing
crazy.
things. Yeah, it's crazy.
Number 3.
Number 3,
It's crazy.
where am I at? Oh, Lord of the Rings, the third one.
The third one.
The third one.
Why the
specific.
third one? Just because it's the finale.
It's epic. Yeah.
It's the epic.
yeah.
They're all epic.
I think all of them are really good, but the third one, the wrap up on the character arcs, the fights, the production is just all incredible. It's easily the best trilogy ever.
I think my favorite part of that movie, actually, there's a lot of favorite parts, but I think my favorite movie explosion of all time is when the Tower of Mordor explodes.
Oh, man.
The way that it falls, is so
Sheesh.
satisfying. It's so freaking. Corey hasn't seen it,
What?
but at this point,
That's
we
a,
don't
that's
even
a
care.
that's a long story. We've been talking about like getting together and watching them all for like 3 years now, and it's still not.
If you don't do
happened.
that by the time you get ready to
But
get
now
married,
you're out of
that's-
school.
Now you're out of school. You
Are
got no
we going to
excuse.
watch them all together, or should I just watch them?
We got to watch
Because
all
like
the
we said, we
extended
were going to watch
editions.
them all, the extended editions together. We talked about
Let's
that.
start tonight.
Let's
I'm
have
fine
a,
with that.
Let's have a retreat.
It's like 4.5
Let's plan
hours a
retreat.
movie.
Just go somewhere
I
and
also would
watch
like to add in that Corey, even though he hasn't seen all of Lord of the Rings, has in like 2 months watched all of One Tree Hill.
It wasn't that quick.
It was pretty quick.
So I did this thing to give you some context. Ryan makes fun of me all the time, but I did this thing in college.
I think it's
where
impressive.
when I was working on schoolwork, I like background noise, but I don't like things that I'm super interested in because I don't want to like not get my work done.
Yeah.
So I want like something to play, but I watched a bunch of like stupid shows. So like I watched this show Young and Hungry or something.
I hate
it was
Oh,
a Brian.
Carrie watched that.
I hate that show so much.
I watched that. I watched
Thank-
One Tree Hill. I watched
The Ranch.
I actually
even
like
know
The
what
Ranch.
The Ranch.
Ranch.
I
actually like The
I
Ranch.
don't even know what One
Hidden
Tree
Valley.
is. What
One
is
Tree
it?
Hill is like an old show, but it was like a
90s, I think.
it was like
Or 2000
it was basically like a teen drama that a bunch of high school
That's not the
girls
one about
liked.
basketball, is it?
It is the one about
Okay.
basketball.
I
but it was like,
put it in the category with Beverly Hills or the 90210.
Oh, okay.
It's
Similar
like-
genre.
it's like
You know what show I got hooked on as a I think I was pretty much like an older teenager or a young adult was Saved by the
Golden
Bell.
Girls.
oh,
Saved by the
I've
Bell.
watched Saved by the Bell. a lot,
I
too.
watched it this
That
morning.
seems
I was like
exciting. Yeah.
reminding myself like how much I just it was a stupid show, but it was just
Yeah.
I liked it.
There's actually I liked it too, and there's this funny YouTube channel of this guy. It's called like he makes these videos. It's called Zach Morris's Trash, and it goes back and like analyzes the episodes, and it's like they always made it out that like Zach Morris was like the main character kind of,
Yeah.
but then it was like here are all the instances in each episode why he's a horrible person, and like so it even has this like he has his own theme song and stuff,
Yeah.
and he starts the shows and he's like this is where he like knew Screech like this girl but then kissed her in front of Screech and like all this stuff and then
Oh
at
yeah,
the
you
end-
can't look at it now as an adult and like none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
None of it is, but it's just
It was just a campy, fun show.
yeah,
really.
but those are the kind of shows that I would like play,
Yeah.
and then Ryan would come in and I'd be watching it, and but because I was doing it in like that fashion, I would go through an entire show in like a month. And it would be like 9 seasons or something, I think.
Yeah,
and I'd watch like all
Like
9
25
seasons.
episodes a season, I think.
Yeah, and I'd watch like all 9 seasons like a
So
month.
the moral of
but it
the
would
story
just,
is
oh
if
my
you want
God.
to watch shows that don't really matter, go to college.
But the other thing about Corey, though, is that even though he's watching in the background, he's taking it all in. So even though he watched in the background, he knows.
I know what
he
went
knows
on,
the
yeah.
entire arc.
I'm really
subconsciously in his
It's
brain.
like,
Yeah,
it's like your dad sleeping, and yeah,
No,
he knows
that's
exactly
exactly-
what's going on.
I don't know if you heard that story, Parker, but I was telling them on one of the podcasts, my dad will go to movies with me. He says he wants to go to the movie, but like 10 minutes in, he's asleep. He's snoring in the theater. And I'm just like, I just let it happen. And then I'll like poke him and I'm like, you're missing the movie. And he'll be like, no, I'm not. This person just killed that guy. And he'll tell me the last like 15 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, how did you even get that? Because you were snoring. Like, how did this happen? But I really do
Yeah.
though. Like if those shows, even though I watch them in the background, I know like the plot lines and stuff still. I still bring it in, but I don't want something like,
Lord of the Rings.
yeah, I don't want something that I would be super invested in. I want to pay attention to like every little
Yeah.
detail.
Lord
To
of the Rings is
play
definitely
to
one
play
of
while
those.
I'm doing work because I want to focus on that stuff. So
Yeah.
so Ryan used to pick on
But
me
anyway,
for that all
you-
the time.
If you don't watch The Lord of the Rings before you get married, though,
We've been talking about this for a long time. I will start tonight. If Adam, like Adam
I'll
said,
watch
we
it
can
with you.
watch it. I'll watch it tonight. Watch the first one tonight. I don't care.
yeah.
I feel
I'd
like
like
it'd
to,
be
but I can't. But I would like to do that sometime. But you guys can get in and start with the first one. I'll finish up.
Yeah.
The
I
other
feel like it'd be a
Parker, do you
sin
like the
without-
extended versions better?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's more gore. more
Because
story.
there's some people that don't like the extended versions.
Really?
Which
Why?
blows my mind.
Oh, I don't know.
Because a lot of people think that the extra. I mean, how much footage was added for the third extended?
like 30
either.
minutes,
Oh, man, I
probably.
can't remember.
It's a decent amount. And I think that might be the
It's
one with like.
a while.
Yeah. But a lot of people think it just slows down the plot.
But here's the thing:
There's a lot of details that you can learn.
Yeah.
what is fascinating to me is because I've watched the movies regular, and then I read the books, and then I saw the extended, and I saw that the extended stuff matches the book.
Yeah.
And that is awesome. Like, that's
Yeah.
where I wish it was in the original movie, because it's adding so much more story to it, because I know what the book says now. Because if you watch it too and read the books, you realize they cut out a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's
Had to.
I get. Do you ever get tired of that though? Like hearing about how like the books compare. I mean, maybe it's because I
Yeah.
don't read many books, because like you can't do that in
Yeah.
a movie. There's
Right.
just no way. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
get
There's just not
everything.
enough time.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do that, it's almost got to be like a part 1, part 2 for one book.
I'm going to rant. I agree with that, except from one incident, because there's a definitive line between where like you just can't or things like that, and there's where you just completely just destroy something.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah.
They didn't even finish.
So it wasn't
I
even
think
close.
I think
to-
they
bad.
did too
Oh, it was
much.
awful.
I understand there's some things you have to
so
change
bad.
and
It
you
was
have to
heresy.
do, but there was just too much.
Okay.
That's one example. Now
What
I'll
about,
still watch
what about
the movie.
what about Ender's Games? It didn't really.
No. Okay.
Yeah, but I
It
tell you,
was
that
kind
is
of a
hard to
letdown.
show 6-year-olds naked, boys and girls in one room. You can't do that on television.
Here's
got a
my
point.
take.
Yeah.
On,
And that's
Well-
the book.
see, I think it's impossible for some movies to be made based off of books.
Yeah.
The reason why Lord of the Rings is so good is the way that J.R. Tolkien writes. He almost writes like he's writing a movie script, because he takes so much time to lay out
Yeah.
The
scenery.
landscapes, the scenes,
He
the
had
details.
a
Well, just think
very,
about all the
very
appendix he
vivid
wrote.
idea of what exactly this looked like to him. So vivid that whoever Peter Jackson, who made the movie, knew exactly what to make. It was probably easy for him to write the script, honestly, because J.R. Tolkien had so much in those books.
They had so much. I
So
mean,
much lore.
Almost to the exact opposite, to where like, what do we cut? Like
Peter Jackson just lucked out. He was like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings, it's pretty much done. Let's just get some. Let's
Let's
just
just
cast
fill
together."
it.
Has he made anything after that that really was significant?
The Hobbit.
Well, I mean, even The Hobbit.
Now I did see that. I've read The Hobbit and seen The Hobbit.
You've
so.
read The
See,
Hobbit.
that one's a
hey
little bit
man,
different.
the guy can take a break and just ride the
That's-
rest of his life on
that's
what he
true.
did. You know what I
He's-
mean?
he's
Like, he doesn't
accomplished
have
enough.
to.
What has Peter Jackson made other than Lord of the Rings?
Or The Hobbit.
Or The Hobbit.
I should know this.
Now, I would say that The Lord of the Rings is better. Have you seen The Hobbit?
I have seen The Hobbit.
Okay.
I read The Hobbit in like 8th grade, and then I saw The Hobbit.
You know what he did make that I think is a really good movie? The
What?
OG King Kong movie with Jack
Yeah, that
Black.
was pretty good.
But I think I like it because Jack Black's in it.
That was pretty good.
All Jack Black movies are good.
He's my spirit animal.
Brian was talking
Yeah, that
about
was
last night, actually.
2005. He was a producer on that one.
Yeah, he really hasn't done anything huge at all. He did Mortal Engines, which I didn't like at all.
Yeah, I heard that was terrible.
All right,
Yeah, that was
anyway,
18.
Number 2?
number 2.
Number 2, The Shining.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I rewatched it recently, and it just climbs higher on the list every time I watch it.
Delicioso. Yeah, that movie is.
Now, I'm finding something interesting here. It seems like that some of the movies you like are kind of slower paced, starting out at least.
So,
and then they get kind of crazy.
yeah, I think there's a lot of movies that'll be like, we have all this action, and action movies, I really like action movies, but stories that really like suck you into it, and it's not like a bunch of action, it's not a bunch of dialogue, it's like the atmosphere they create, the how much goes into like the set design, all this different stuff.
All the movies you've said so far, I haven't seen the Batman one though, have all been very atmospheric. That's a
Yeah.
big part of all the ones.
Well, I'd
you've
say
said.
that Batman Beyond is pretty.
Probably
it
Also,
is.
yeah.
It is very atmospheric.
But The Shining though is like the prime example of an atmospheric horror movie.
Absolutely.
Like it's just unreal how atmospheric it is. And 2001: A Space Odyssey too. Like that is just all atmosphere pretty much. It's
Is
Yeah.
that because it's outer space?
all right.
It's been fun, guys. I'll get you.
But
throw that
I think on the episode when I did my top 5, I think I said The Shining on it. I can't remember. My
think it was
list
like
changes
your
all the time.
2 or 3 or something. 3.
Yeah. Because I
Maybe
think
4.
I think on that one I said number 1 was.
Was that your Halloween list though?
It may have been my Halloween list.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I've talked about a lot of movies
Yeah.
on here.
All right. Give us number 1.
All right, number 1 is what I consider a masterpiece is Seven.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's really good.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty much a flawless movie because the plot, the characters, what all they go through, the villain, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's
Is that the movie that probably made Kevin Spacey like?
I think so. That
top
was pretty.
actor.
That was pretty early in his career. I think.
Yeah. Because it's different for us when we watch it, or at least for me and like Parker, people our age when we watch it. Because when Kevin Spacey is revealed, we're like, oh dang, that's a big. Not only is it a plot twist plot wise, it's a plot twist with actor. But when people watch it for the first time, like Kevin Spacey was kind of a nobody. Like they were just kind of like, oh, that's that actor.
Yeah.
But now it's like, dang, they had Kevin Spacey and they were
Yeah.
paying him
Exactly.
to just kind of play like not necessarily a small part, but be on screen for a small amount of time.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was funny. The first thing I remember ever seeing Kevin Spacey in was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So it wasn't even a movie that the first time I saw Kevin.
He did a good
Spacey.
job in that, actually.
He
if
did
anybody
actually.
played
Yeah, the story
campaign.
was good. But yeah,
That was
it-
probably one of the best campaign stories. I mean, I think the original Modern Warfare, I guess it's Call of Duty
classic.
4,
Yeah,
was
My
good.
favorite is Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 1 is where it's at.
Black Ops 1's really good. I like Black Ops 2 because it gives you the like choices to have alternate endings. And
Yeah,
then there was an
that's true.
alternate ending where Avenged Sevenfold played, like in a concert, and the like Call of
Amazing.
Duty characters were there too. That was sweet.
But yeah, 7 was a really good movie. I mean, just the dynamics of it, how it played out. I remember
Yeah.
the thing that creeped me out was just he, taking his fingernail,
Yeah, it's like stuck in your
fingerprint off
head.
there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he
So
would-
good.
Yeah,
Have you seen Shutter Island?
I love Shutter
That was
Island.
It's
Shutter
on the
Island's
watch
one that
list.
whenever I think of 7, for some reason I also think of Shutter Island.
I can see that.
Now, do you think that's Brad Pitt's best movie, 7?
Yes,
Well, what about Fight Club?
I haven't seen Fight
Oh.
Club.
Oh, Fight Club's good. I'm
Yeah.
just trying
Well, we
to think
can't
about
talk about it, so it's fine.
first rule.
I
Fight Club.
understood.
that.
I understood that reference.
That's not even a funny
I feel like you have to mention it in this context.
Okay, so I just mentioned Fight Club, but I would say 7 is right up there with Brad Pitt's best movies.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned World War Z.
Yeah.
I think World War Z was good, but the emotional range that he had in 7, because you saw him, he was like super angry, he was super upset, just the amount of range he had.
I think that's true that he played a wide, and that makes me think about Fight Club too. He had a range of emotions.
I don't remember. I remember seeing this movie a long time ago, but that 12 Monkeys.
That movie.
that
Is
He
so
was kind of
good.
crazy in that too.
Yeah.
That could have shown a lot of that flexing that muscle.
Did
acting
anyone see
muscle.
Ad Astra?
Yes,
I really liked it.
it was really
He
good.
was in that.
I think so.
It was interesting.
It was very interesting.
Was
It
that
had
a
a
space
2001 vibe.
Now wait a minute. What about Deadpool 2?
Deadpool 2.
What was he in that?
Classic.
I don't
He was
remember.
he was the invisible guy that
Got
gets
electrocuted.
electrocuted, and you only see him once
see
he's
his-
electrocuted.
yeah.
Yeah, he
That
got,
was his cameo.
he got
His
paid
father.
for
remember.
with a cup of coffee, I think. That's what they said.
Yeah, he basically just was a huge, like, they said he was like a huge comic book fan and loved Deadpool.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be in the movie just to like cameo in the movie. So that's why they
Yeah.
did the invisible guy. The only reason they wrote that character in was specifically so when he got electrocuted, you'd see Brad Pitt. And that was it.
Yeah.
But
Parker, who's your favorite actor? If you had to say one person.
That's a tough one. That's a tough.
This is the second part of the initiation. So far, you've done fine.
Okay. I got to think hard about this one. I haven't thought about that.
Or just one of your favorites, I guess we can
One
say.
of my favorites. Under pressure.
It's just a podcast. Well,
I have
can we switch gears a little bit and let you come back to this? Because I know that you built your own computer, so
Oh,
That's
totally
definitely
different.
switching
Big
gears.
talk about, can we talk a little bit about
we
that?
just
Because
toss it in
I was
reverse.
gonna mention one thing about one of his movies
Sure,
too. I
that's
didn't know if
fine.
you wanted to talk about. So I was just thinking about this a second ago. Have you guys heard all of the like abuse stuff from The Shining? Have you heard about all that?
Yeah.
No.
With Wendy or
So
whatever.
so
I've watched my
Wendy,
fair share of
Wendy.
Shining
so
documentaries.
apparently
they had to force her to,
well,
like-
they had to force her to do a bunch of stuff, but then they also like didn't tell her things were going to happen, and she actually was like diagnosed with PTSD after the movie.
She was
And it
legitimately
almost-
terrified.
She
after
was
that
yeah.
movie.
So
they
like
wanted to capture real emotion.
yeah. So but like the Here's Johnny scene, like the iconic scene, they didn't tell her they were going to do that at all, so she didn't know that was going to happen. So like her scream is real. in the scene where she's like using the baseball bat, Stanley Kubrick did that 127 times to the point where her hands were like bleeding and almost like she almost had to have like treatment to her hands and stuff. And they said she immediately almost considered like never acting again, and she like struggled with PTSD for like.
And then she
ever
turned
since.
out to be Popeye's wife
Yeah,
or girlfriend.
but like
That
there
was
was
her
like a
best
lot.
role.
Seemed like all the
What's the name of
iconic
her?
directors.
all over or
all
Olive.
there. It's
Popeye. What's his love interest?
it's Olive.
Olive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you
Seems
guys
like
know
all
Stephen
of
King
the,
hated The Shining?
Yeah,
Stephen King.
Does he like any of his movies?
not
Stand
very
by Me.
Well, he
probably?
likes the new It, but he got to co-write it.
Yeah.
But does he like Stand
I
by
think
Me?
he did say somewhere that he really liked Stand By Me.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that sounds
But all of his
right.
horror movies, he doesn't like.
Yeah. Well, and he even said, I was reading one of the things that he said about like her part was he didn't just want, he said that they just portrayed her as someone that just was like running around screaming in the movie. And that's not how he envisioned her at all. And so he was like really disappointed with that too. But I just thought that was kind of like, I feel like that's something, especially in today's climate, you could not get away with. Like just like treat like.
My,
I mean, I understand the idea to try and like get that raw reaction, but like some of the stuff they said they put her through in the movie.
well, there's a lot of things they can't do nowadays that they did.
Yeah,
years
true.
ago.
And
But-
I like it, like Leonardo DiCaprio did it, and some others where unexpected things happen, and you see them they play through it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so it's almost like if you don't do what they did to The Shining, you're allowing these good actors to be able to utilize and play through. Like when
Yeah.
he bust his hand and broke it,
Yeah.
he just played through, and they were
Yeah.
like, everyone else is like freaking out, and whatever, but they're like, he just kept going, so they kept it rolling, and I
Yeah.
think that really just adds so
It
much
does.
more when people
Yeah.
can do that.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a difference between something like that accidental happening,
And then when you're
and
intentionally,
when you're
yeah.
intentionally
That's what I'm-
like
yeah.
torturing this one woman
Yeah.
to
Yeah, could
like
you-
get a reaction.
Could you imagine just be like, hey, you have to sit in this corner in the bathroom. We're just filming you just in the corner. Just be like, oh, okay. And then you just have
And then you start beating
Jack
in with an
Nicholson
axe.
with an axe
Yeah.
coming through
Yeah.
the door.
So going back to this PC thing.
Going back to the PC thing.
So what all do you have? Like, what kind of memory do you have? Do you have DDR4 or DDR3? What are you running in as far as RAM?
We're nerding out here, folks. So
I was
shift
gonna say,
channels
I don't
if you-
understand any of this. So,
So you know computers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know computers a little bit?
I know some really basic.
I burned
stuff.
What
for you
graphics
last
card
night.
do you have?
We
I
did.
have
Just out of
a
curiosity.
GTX 1660.
1660?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much RAM is on the graphics card? Do you have 4 gigs of RAM, 6 gigs of RAM,
I'm
8?
pretty sure it's 8.
8.
I
That's
think it's
good.
8, yeah.
That's a beefy boy.
So
Yeah.
what got you into computer gaming then?
So, my original plan, I built this for college. I was thinking, if I have this PC, I don't have to pay for a gaming like subscription, online subscription, because you just use Wi-Fi or whatever. Steam games are constantly on
Pretty
sale.
much free. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're able to use it for a lot more than just like video games or just
Yeah.
watching stuff. And so I was thinking if I can merge over, that'll make things a lot easier. Hopefully, I mean, you're spending a big amount right there, but hopefully in the long run, it'll be a little less money on you, a little less costly. And, of course, I was thinking with all these essays and stuff with college, it'd be useful to have an actual computer.
Now, how much did you pay for your whole setup?
So the PC ended up being 1060, I think. So I set my budget at 1,000, and so I went
Pretty
to
close.
a micro center. Yeah, I went to a micro center,
Oh.
and the guy's like, I can work with 1,000, and he gives me all this stuff, and we got $998 or something like that, and he's like, I recommend these protection plans, just in case if something happens, you can bring it back or whatever. And I'm like, let's do it. So I went a little over 1,000, but
Yeah.
totally worth it.
So what kind of case do you have? Do you have LED lights in it? Or?
No, I really wanted to get the LED lights. I wanted to be fancy, look like I know what I'm doing or something like that. But he's like, you could do that, but if you want more power and you still want stuff to look nice, you're gonna spend like an extra $30 on kind of every part that would glow or whatever. And I'm like, rather save and get.
No,
better
you can-
power
So no
stuff.
hydro cooling system.
No, I'm not messing with water and stuff like that. No, thank you.
That's terrifying. Isn't it?
I will say the only thing I do know, I know someone else that built like his own computer like that, and this is so extra, but it's really cool. My friend built his gaming PC, and then he was like, I want to redo this, like I want to do it better. So he just built this gaming PC, and he got the case for his PC custom built, and the front of it, it looks like the front end of an Apache attack helicopter, but the glass on the sides, like there's LEDs in it, but when it like turns on, you turn it on to like vent it, the glass on the sides like flares out on its own and it opens up.
That's cool.
It's
That is-
insane.
that
Yeah,
is
you can
sweet.
It's
spend a lot
insane.
of crazy
Yeah.
money on
You
stuff like
can.
that. Now, are you rocking an AMD processor or a Nineveh?
Definitely.
Or no, sorry, not Intel. I apologize.
AMD on the way. Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Just asking.
I have a Ryzen 5 3600X.
Okay.
My next
For
question is,
specific.
why don't you play Warzone with us?
Yeah.
That's a good
I
question.
just downloaded it like 2 days ago.
Why did you wait so long?
Well, you see,
don't
it
blame you. It's
takes up so
overrated.
much space.
Yeah.
And,
what kind of
uh,
hard drive? You got an SSD hard drive?
Yeah,
or-
I have a 1 terabyte SSD.
Oh, okay. You
But-
can always
That'll fill up pretty much halfway.
you can
with,
always add a mechanical
Warzone.
hard drive
Warzone.
as your secondary hard drive. Do you
Yeah, I
have
plan
something
on
like that?
getting a hard drive here soon because
Yeah.
SSD is like basically fast storage, and then you have hard drive, which is
Actually, I could sell you something. Do you have an
Ooh,
M.2?
we got some deals
Do
cooking.
you have an M.2 expansion slot on your motherboard?
I think so. Yeah.
I have a terabyte. I can't use it in my computer because I thought it did because it says it does, but then I find out that it's actually the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth thing. So
yeah.
I can't. I don't want to take that out.
No.
But it's one of those cards that's like an SSD, but it's a stick. You know, it's got the memory on it. So it's a terabyte. If you want to buy it, I'd sell it to you for $80.
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal.
So you can
I'll
think,
think
about
about it.
Okay.
So how long did it take you to hack and put the codes in to play Call of Duty?
Oh, hacking. I hired somebody to do that because
I was waiting to see if it tripped you up. See if you're going to be one of those
See,
hackers.
I've always debated about building my own computer, which I'd like to, and Xavier's kind of getting into PC computers, so but it's always cheaper to buy some kind of aftermarket or even just computer setups or gaming setups, or at least getting a PC and then adding elements to do that. I would love to do that sometime, but financially I haven't done that yet. But see, I just like to. I'm a nerd. I like to mess with stuff.
Actually,
it was fun. I did one like 4 years ago, and it was fun. I mean, it was stressful trying to figure out what you're doing and then paying out the money.
absolutely.
But it was fun putting it all together when it all
was.
came in.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then it's like you got to find the right motherboard because some motherboards are for Intel, some motherboards are for AMD, and then the
a process.
processors are a different style. Like the Intel, I think, has the pins, right? And then
No, wait, no, AMD
has
has
the
pins.
pins, and then the Intel doesn't. So it's just
last
interesting.
night we were having a fire at my house, and my brother threw in just randomly our family's old Dell.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that
I
was
could have
random.
used that. I could have done something with that.
No, well,
I know,
it,
take
had
it
been,
apart.
it had been struck by lightning. Our house got struck by lightning a while ago,
so
and it
I could-
fried a lot of our stuff.
I could probably save some of the hard
probably,
drive.
but it's gone
you
now.
I could have
definitely
probably
could.
saved
What
your
was fun-
documents too.
I doubt it was
I bet I
it was
could've.
my mom and dad's, and they don't even know if they knew how to use it. I played a lot of the SpongeBob game that I bought
Oh,
for
really?
it. Yeah, but anyway, when the power supply, it was internal, exploded, it shot metal at us.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ryan
wow.
and I both got hit. That was not fun.
It was dope.
So that's your whole PC setup right there.
Yeah, that's my PC setup.
throw an old Dell in a fire
Now,
and see what
I'm
happens.
sure Dan's going to put the comment of this one of a Cheese Whiz can landing on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I mean,
There was a Cheese Whiz can in the fire when we went camping, and I was playing with it. I didn't know the Cheese Whiz can was in there, and I flicked it over into where the flames were, and it exploded. He'll go, look right here. See, that's the scar from it. He'll just point that out to you.
Oh wow.
That's crazy.
It's you can't. See
I'm gonna
it.
ask
It's
him
not
about it.
real. I mean, it's
last time I was near a fire with Dan, we burned up
Eric's
a few
couch?
kids. Actually, yeah.
Oh,
No,
man.
no,
that
no.
fire.
Eric's couch.
It was actually really cool. I love talking about stuff and how it burns.
Yeah, Parker, your
Dan had a
dad
bunch of old
left
instrument cables in the back of his car. We threw it in, and when it caught on
all the
fire, it
collars?
was so bright. It was like a
I think it was like the
flare.
copper.
It was
and-
Probably,
crazy.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
couldn't look at it. And then the
Oil
other
and stuff
time
on
we
there.
threw in a couple axe cans or something. So
Didn't he
definitely
have
recommend doing
I
a
had
fire
some
with
old
Dan.
flares one time. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was there for that too.
I have video of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Pyromaniacs.
Yeah.
All of you.
Can we talk about another topic? I mean, we all kind of like video game stuff too, right? Can we
You could say that.
share
pretty
this a
easily.
little bit? I thought about. I mean, how many of you guys? I just want to kind of get a poll. Do you guys play like games like Skyrim and?
We were talking about this
I was just thinking
last
about
night.
Bethesda's acquisition by Microsoft.
We were talking about this last night.
Oh, okay.
Actually, because we're hoping they speed up the process a little bit, because it seemed like I'm wondering, it seemed like they were taking a really long time coming out with like new development, but I'm wondering if Bethesda knew they were going to sell,
I think.
and so that's why they were dragging their feet, because they didn't want to try and push something out and then sell, or whatever, vice versa. But we were actually talking about it last night. I put an absurd amount of hours into Skyrim, and
See, I have the game and I tried to play it, but I just never felt like I had the time to play it.
that's the
it's an
thing. It
investment.
No
does
one
take-
has the time to.
No.
It sucks it out of you.
Well, that was
Yeah, it does.
so I had it on my 360, and then I sold my 360, and I regret it. I've regretted it ever since. I sold it in college, and it's
We're here
He
for you,
sold
buddy.
a rock band guitar.
I did. We had Ryan and I had a
Buy one
rock.
off me a 360.
See, the only reason I regret it is because of Skyrim. I mean, I wish I still had the
Well, I mean,
console.
you can just get Skyrim now.
but
for
no, but
literally
here's the
everything made.
Get an
but here's
Xbox
the
One
thing.
and
No,
get Game Pass.
listen, they have
Or just
they have
buy it for like
Skyrim
$10.
remastered now for PlayStation. So I've debated it, but the problem is, I pretty much like 100% at Skyrim, which is
A lot of
insane.
hours.
It's an insane
a lot of
feat.
Would you say that's
But-
probably over 40 to 50 hours?
I think I had over 80 hours.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
nothing, dude.
I
you play it?
I want to say
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
say it was more, actually it was way more than that, because I say hours, but I feel like I was in like days, like an absurd amount of time. Like my parents would get mad because my dad would like wake up in the middle of the night, and it was like a school night, and I was in high school, and I would like come home from basketball practice or whatever and be playing it, and then they would go to bed, and then they'd wake up and it'd be like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was still working on quests. And then
You want to hear something
so-
disgusting real quick about me? Right before this, I was playing Modern Warfare, not Cold War. I was playing Modern Warfare, just sniping kids. It was so much fun.
Disgusting.
And I decided to check to see how much in-game time I've put, because it tells you how much Warzone, and then it also tells you how much multiplayer. I'm at about 35 days of in-game time.
That's
Yeah.
It adds up
So-
after a while.
Oh yeah.
So I was gonna, when you said that with the hours, it's I wish I could check, because it's an absurd number of days, not hours. But the reason I have debated getting it is, the reason I couldn't 100% the game is because I found this out way after, and it frustrates me to this day. In that game, there are Daedric quests, and it's like you get special weapons or like objects or whatever, but it's just like a cool storyline. They're basically like, I don't know. It's almost like they're like gods, kind of, or whatever, and you get their weapons doing the quests. Well, one of a different storyline in the game is I want to say it's not the Thieves Guild. I think it's the Assassins missions. Anyways, there's this guy named Cicero. He's dressed as a clown, basically. He's one of the people. Well, he kind of like turns on you in the game if you go down the storyline, and you have to find him and kill him. Well, apparently there's this glitch where you're supposed to do one of the Daedric quests earlier in the game before you get to that part. Well, I hadn't done that one, and the location in the game where you kill Cicero is in the same room that you're supposed to find one of the Daedric quests. And if you kill him first, when you go back, the weapon is not there.
Oh man.
So I did like the whole game, and then I followed that quest line, and you go exactly where you're supposed to go, and you show up to like this table, and the arrow for the game is like pointing at this table but nothing is there.
Oh, that stinks.
And I read all about it, and there's no way to fix it. There was no way to like backtrack. I had no idea how far I would even have to backtrack to figure that out. But I'm a big completionist person, so I have that's why I had like that's why I don't want to get the game again, because I know that if I start it, I'll want to complete it. And so like Ghost of Tsushima, that's why when we were talking about that, I've 100%ed that game. So that's why I
you ever
have
played
an
it?
issue.
Ghost of Tsushima.
No,
Oh, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played it a lot when I had my Xbox, my Xbox One, and amazing.
so you
So
don't have
I-
an Xbox One anymore?
I still have it. It's just I don't have it plugged in.
Oh,
Whenever
Yeah.
I played Skyrim, when I first started it, is when I first had my 360. I didn't know anything
60,
about
baby.
technology really at all. And so when I first started playing it, for like the first probably like 70 hours I played it without an HDMI cable. I had the like,
It's tough.
what are they called? The red, white,
Oh, the red,
Coax.
green,
the
and blue.
coax or whatever. And then I purchased because I had the 360 that didn't even have the HDMI input.
Oh, really?
So I had to buy the dongle for it. And when I did that, I was like,
Dongle.
this is HD. This is sick.
Dongle's such a fun word.
I love the word
Well,
dongle.
what I think about
I have it
it,
tattooed on me,
interesting
I can't
about
show
the
it,
acquisition of Bethesda, and it's interesting that you say you don't even have your Xbox plugged in, because I wonder. I don't even play Xbox. I have Game Pass, and one of the things I like to do is I like to pay for things in advance. So I probably have it paid for like the next 2 or 3 years, but because I find good deals, I'm like, I'll just get it so I don't have to pay the higher price later, because you never know when it may go up. But I think about that, and I think about the future of that being a reality, that the Game Pass is trying to be like Netflix.
Yeah.
And do you think that that's my question to you guys? Do you think that there's a foreseeable future where you won't be buying consoles anymore, that you'll just be paying for a subscription?
I
and
think it
you'll
just
stream your
depends on
games?
how widespread fast internet's going to be. Because
Yeah.
I'm fine with because I have PlayStation Now. I love it, but I only play the games that I can download. Because even if you do have fast speed, you can still tell if you're streaming or not. Unless the technology and the speeds are widespread enough to where you can like pretty seamlessly stream stuff. I think that at that point would be
I think
sweet.
that's true, because like for me, I think after talking to you guys, I have the fastest internet here. So for
By
me,
flex,
it
okay.
wouldn't be a hard thing for me to do that. But you're right. There's so many people that have bad internet.
Yeah.
That
But
to
I
have a
also
good-
think I think that for the wide foreseeable future, there's always going to be consoles. There's
Well,
always
I
gonna
was
be
going to say
people.
there's
I
too
think that
there's
the
too much
companies are
money.
always
There's
gonna
too
make-
much money in it.
Well,
Yeah, there is.
But there's always that progression of being forced. Like, the other idea too. Like if Xbox could get you to stream and not require a console, then that's another leap of not having to have another barrier. The console can be a barrier at some point to say, for entry, you have to have this console to enter, as opposed to being like, I think Google Stadia is way ahead of its time, because I don't think it's ready and I don't think it's going to work out. But you don't have to have a console, and you can use whatever controller you have, and you can immediately hook up to games. And if you can play it anywhere, and you don't have to be somewhere to watch it, it's like Netflix. Like think about where Netflix was years ago. Maybe you guys don't remember because you're younger.
With the discs.
But the idea of the disc came, getting mail order disc. And I remember finding out that Netflix was starting and happening, and I signed up immediately because I knew it was going to take off. Because
should've
they
invested.
had a partnership
Should've
with
invested, dude.
Stars, that had a partnership with Disney to air some of their movies. And so they were having this partnership, and that's what took Netflix into that.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, going backtracking everything, is that Microsoft is trying to gain acquisitions of companies like Bethesda to give it more credence to be able to be played everywhere. And the other thing I thought about that's interesting with Bethesda games is that they do run at a smaller pace, because some of the games that would not work with slower internet is like fast games like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
games like Skyrim,
Yeah.
you can still have a good quality experience with Skyrim, because there's not as much going
Yeah.
on per se. I
Yeah.
know there are
Yeah.
some.
At first, whenever I heard that Microsoft was buying Bethesda, I was like ticked, because I was like, oh, just another company buying out this other company to just make money off of it. But after reading what like the owner of Microsoft has been doing, like the gaming sector of Microsoft, obviously, he says that he doesn't have any interest in making games like console exclusive. Like he's just all for making games playable for everyone. Like he's just
Yeah.
a
But you got to keep in mind, it's not just Xbox, it's PC too, because they do both.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
saying,
when he
like-
says it's not just console exclusive,
Yeah.
he's saying, hey, we can come out on PC.
But
it
he
can come on
did say
Xbox.
in response to making it just Xbox and PC exclusive because they're gonna have control over that. He said that from what I've read, it's still gonna be available on like PS4 or PS5 and stuff.
Not every game.
Not every game, but I think the big
Did
ones
you watch
will.
the video that Higgy was talking about that? And
I've seen,
just,
yeah.
just
but
the one that was aired just recently when they
I believe, yeah, I think
finished
so.
the acquisition.
But I think that Skyrim will still be, or the new Elder Scrolls.
Some
will
of the
still be on
bigger games
PS5.
probably will be, but like
But also, you have to
Dishonored-
think about. I don't think Bethesda's really made a crazy great game in a while, since Fallout 4,
4.
which was a while ago.
Well,
Yeah.
Vegas has turned out to be better. They've definitely updated it and made it
Wait,
better.
Vegas, what do you mean?
Not Vegas. The last one.
Oh, the MMO RPG.
No.
The Fallout one, yeah.
It wasn't Fallout 4.
76.
76.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have interest, but I mean, like, I feel like they've kind of been dropping the ball a bit recently with their games. Give me Prey. I didn't like Prey when that came out, and that was
Yeah.
hyped up a lot. But Elder Scrolls, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that
Please.
seals the deal.
Please.
I want to make a prediction that maybe PS7, if that's what they call it, will be the last one.
Really?
I could see a future where we don't have consoles.
I can see, I definitely see it. I think the ability is there. I just think as long as they're making money, they're not going to want to.
I think they'll be forced by Microsoft to do that.
And they very well might, and I think that will be what it comes down to. But just like the fact that they can come out with a new PlayStation or a new Xbox and people just buy it immediately.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
sales as of right now aren't slowing down at all.
No.
Because
But I'm
PS5
talking
is the
about,
fastest
if I
selling.
say PS7, then I'm talking about 20 years from now. Probably. All
Sounds
hypothetical.
about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 20 years from now.
I think there's still going to be consoles.
Okay.
But in
I'll
20
be-
years,
20 years, I'll be in my 60s, so we can talk about
we'll come
this.
back to it. I mean, I'm sure that
Reunion.
we're probably for the rest of our lives going to be talking about video games. So
Well, I'm just thinking about Netflix.
Yeah.
If you went back, 20 years ago and said, "Oh, we're going to have this streaming service that you can watch movies anytime you want,"
yeah.
I don't think anybody would have bought that. They're like, "What? No."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
What
the
about
whole
Blockbuster?
Yeah, it's
What
just
about-
the whole Blockbuster thing.
Yeah.
They didn't buy into it, and they
But see that again. That's my point. The hardware became the issue.
Yeah.
The hardware of the disc player or the VHS player, all these devices you had to have to watch it. Why do you need that? That is just another stepping stone to something even more potential.
See,
But I mean, if you do look at it this way, that old physical style is still an option.
Not really. I mean, like,
It is. I mean, I collect Blu-rays all the time.
yeah, but
Like, look at that. Like, it's still an option to use those kind of things. So I think that what you're saying with consoles not being a thing in 20 years, I think that they will be a thing, but there's going to be a lot of other options, probably more practical. But I think that you still will be able to go out and buy a PS7. That's just my prediction.
I said PS7 would be the last.
We're on PS8. I think that there is going to be a PS8, but I think if I had to guess, there's going to be like a console version you can buy, and I don't even if games aren't a thing, like
So you
physical
think there'll
games,
be some type of hybrid?
I think
like
so.
they'll
Yeah.
do online
Because I mean,
and-
you still have to have something to stream the games on, and I think that Sony may at some point start focusing more on that.
Yeah, but if a TV, if a tablet, if a computer,
you're thinking it's all going to be built together.
yeah, you can if you can have it anywhere like Netflix and whatever your device is, you don't have to have a set format for it.
Did you look into the Amazon Luna?
That's another thing that's coming out.
Because I started signing up for that beta thing. I
did.
didn't do it. Basically,
I didn't get it.
you purchase a controller, but everything's on Amazon. Everything's online.
Well, that's like Stadia. Stadia
So-
came out. They didn't have enough original games to really make
It
it.
just doesn't have any. It
But
doesn't
I,
have
but I
backing
still
or
hear
anything
that
yet.
Cyberpunk is still probably one of the best ways to play. Cyberpunk is on Google Stadia. Not that I played that, but
Yeah.
See, I think
anyhow.
I think to go off your idea of the no consoles, I think VR is the future because
I think VR is going to have a big
right
thing,
now,
too.
right
I
now,
like
it's
it.
not in a good, it's
Yeah.
not in a great state.
It's just not
but
affordable
it has
right now.
it has so much potential, and with the upcoming technology that will
Yeah.
create,
They have
I
to
think
make it
VR is-
simpler. They
nervous
have
about
to
that,
make it
though.
with less.
morally.
They have to make it with less
Morally,
Yeah.
Well,
About VR, why?
Well, just
what
think
do you
about
view on your, what do teenagers view on the phone? What do adults view?
We're gonna have some Ready Player One type.
well, that's
stuff.
what I was gonna say. Just like in Ready
That's-
Player One, they hint at that
Oh,
Ready
so,
Player
okay.
One.
I
so-
mean,
I'm the only one that owns any type of VR headset, or am I not?
I think you
Yeah.
are.
I think you
Okay,
are.
so I will say this: I like my VR, but I also hate it
Yeah.
because when I come home, I think about, okay, I gotta get the headset on.
Yeah.
I gotta sit a certain distance.
See, I think that will eventually become so
Yeah.
fluid.
They have to. They
Yeah.
have to solve.
Like
some
they'll
of
have
those
Exactly.
like
issues,
glasses
Yeah.
probably or
I'm not saying it's not gonna happen,
something
but
connected to the headset. You just pull down.
I wish HoloLens would. Have you seen Microsoft? They're coming up with some new things with that, but yeah, where you can augment reality, like you put on glasses almost, and
It's
and
AR,
then-
not VR.
Yeah. That
I
that
think that
entices
more-
me more.
Maybe depending. I mean, I think there's still so many advances that have already been made with AR and VR that like there's some stuff we don't even know about. Like what they're like.
gotta-
There's probably a meshing of VR and AR.
There's
that's
tons of
gonna
stuff
come
that
out.
they do that we can't have because it's not consumer ready.
Right. Yeah. They
Because
have to
gotta
wait
have
till
a-
it's. Yeah.
They got to have a proof of concept that where it will that consumers would be able to afford it, one, and two, that it could hit mass market.
Yeah.
So I think Oculus has kind of went that direction. Have any of you guys experienced an Oculus or
I've
messed
seen
with it?
Yeah. I've messed
But
with it.
what's cool about it is not only is it just games, but like you can download apps and you don't have to have like this certain device to plug into it. It doesn't have to plug in. You just charge it and then boom, you have like
I mean,
your own personal
VR
movie
even
theater.
like even now they like there are so many different like aside from gaming, I think there's even more practical uses for like 3D content, like 3D digital content creation, like Photoshop kind of stuff, where you can just like make like character models in like a 3D space. That's huge to be able to like put yourself in a fully 3D space to look at something like that. I think that's going to be the kind of thing that's going to blow up with like CGI and stuff like that. I think a
Yeah.
lot more is going to be done in like VR just because it's going to eventually be so practical that it's doesn't make sense to view a 3D space on a 2D screen.
I know we'll probably have to move on here soon, but have you guys checked out the Console Wars movie on? It's a movie. It's a documentary. It's really cool. It's about Sega and Nintendo and their
Oh, is it
rivalry.
older?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. I haven't
But
seen it yet though.
It just makes me think about like Sega actually came out with a way to play games remotely, where you take your console and you plug it in. It was through cable internet, or not cable internet. There wasn't internet back then with cable, but you'd actually take it and it would send a cable signal, like a channel signal, and it would send that information to your console to change the games. And it was just amazing. And they were even talking. And here we're talking about 1990s, maybe 1989 or something like that. They were talking about doing games like that. So you're right. It does take a while for certain concepts to take. And I'm making a prediction. I'm guessing 20 years. It could be longer, like you're saying. But I also think here's the other thing I think about is that games a lot of times pave the way for new things to happen. Right?
Yeah.
It's like games have caused a lot of things to kind of advance because they push us forward. Like bandwidth, I think has
Yeah.
been a direct result of video games.
Yeah, for sure.
That because they take so much resources to make and do that provide other opportunities for things.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Yep. Absolutely.
they keep talking that 5G is going to really, once that becomes nationwide, like you see the commercials, but it's not really nationwide like they say it is.
No.
But once that becomes like in rural areas and things like that, that will cause a lot of speeds to go up
Yeah.
throughout the world. Once they figure that out, that is an issue. How can you provide wireless? Because I don't think you can provide lines like like the telephone line type thing.
I think they're gonna get to the point where it's all like satellite directed. Like it's just gonna be like almost like international Wi-Fi, no cables, nothing. Like you just have a receiver on your home somewhere, and it picks up signal for everybody.
Shout out to SmartNet.
It makes me think
for being
about
pioneers in that industry.
It does make me think about Revelations, where it talks about the increase of knowledge, and it's just wild that while knowledge doesn't mean that you have wisdom, knowledge means that you just have access to a wealth of information.
Yeah.
And so, just thinking about how we keep moving that bar further and further across the line to where we do have at the tip of our fingers, we have access to all this information, and how that's becoming more and more advanced throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that the Bible predicted it to happen.
Yeah. You're exactly right, though. Knowledge and we're definitely differentiating between knowledge and wisdom there.
Wisdom is the ability to use the knowledge you have.
appropriately.
Yeah.
A lot of people lack wisdom. They have a lot of knowledge. But they, All right, should we move
Sure.
on?
Let's start wrapping her up. So what I think me and Eric are. Do we have the verses?
Yeah, I have. You can
I
go
can start
first.
mine.
Yeah.
Just something I read recently. Shoot, I closed my Bible app.
How could you?
Don't you hate? Maybe I should make sure I'm.
And now it's probably going to ask me, "Do you love the Bible app?" And if I click yes,
Remember that episode? I always said no.
I have to because if I'm getting ready to read something,
It's like I don't want to take the
if I
time.
click yes, I rate it.
I opened my
5
Bible app
stars
because I
always.
wanted to do a devotion, not to have to rate it.
I will rate it 5 stars always if I do click yes. But then it says, "All right, let's write a review on the App Store," and I'm like, "No."
No.
Yeah, I hate that.
All right, so I'm doing.
I hate that on any app. I don't do that. Do you do that for? Have you done that for any?
The only way I do it is if there's some apps that are free, but still have ads in them, and if you rate it, you'll skip the ads. I'll do that
really?
every once in a while.
Have you done it for
Or-
Letterboxd? Like read a review for Letterboxd?
No, Letterboxd doesn't have ads,
You have
but
a-
I am thinking about
well, you have to
paying
buy
for.
a membership.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying a membership for it because it'll give
What's
you.
that provide?
There's different levels. I don't even know where you see them, but it's like yearly. You can pay like $10 a year for like the base one. You can go up to like 25. A lot of my friends have the Patreon one, which is the most expensive, but it gives you like stats, and it will, if you like search a movie, it'll tell you where it's streaming. It will do, if you watch a movie and rate it high, it'll give you recommendations for other movies like that, which it doesn't do now. It's really cool. But anyway, I will be reading Philippians 2, 1 through 4. So, it's Christ's example of humility. So if there's any encouragement in Christ, any comfort from love, any participation in the Spirit, any affection and sympathy, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accordance of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. So, I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward thing. Just a good reminder to just be humble, keep being humble. I think something that I thought of when I read that is as the world is opening back up from COVID, I think there's going to be a lot for the first time in a while, a lot more like person-to-person interaction. And I think it's going to be, for Christians at least, a good point to kind of step off on a new foot in terms of like how we treat others. Because a lot of it's been like phone calls and text messages and stuff. And actions obviously speak a lot louder than words. So it's something I'm going to try to do is just be more humble in my actions, like try to kind of go out of my way a little bit more for people. Because like the world opening back up with COVID slowly, it kind of reminds me of like when I went from high school to college. Like everyone was saying, this is a new chapter of your life. This can be a new start. And for some people, even though it's not as abrasive as moving and stuff, you can have a new start with just like your actions being the world opening back up again, I guess. So I just thought that was cool.
No, that's really good.
Nice and simple.
I had kind of goes along with some of what you shared. It's John chapter 13, and this is, of course, toward the end of Jesus dying on the cross. And he says, verse 36, it says, Simon Peter asked him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus replied, where I am going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later. Peter asked, Lord, why can't I follow you? I will lay down my life for you. Then Jesus answered, will you really lay down your life for me? Very truly, I tell you, before the rooster crows, you will disown me. And then the other part I wanted to share was the next chapter, because sometimes we read the chapters and we don't finish the next part. Mm-hmm. And we got to remember that the Gospels, the whole Bible wasn't written as chapters. They weren't written as verses. Yes. It was all just one complete story. Mm-hmm. So in chapter 14, it says this, he responds to this, and that's the reason why I read that last part of chapter 13 was because of this first part in chapter 14. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. So, going back to chapter 13, Jesus was sharing some heavy news that, hey, you've been following me these past 2 years. We've been hanging out. You've seen some great things from me. You've seen me do miracles. You've heard my lessons. You've heard everything about me, but you can't go any further.
Yeah.
We got to part ways. Not permanently, but right now you can't go with me. And Peter makes that statement, hey, I'll lay down my life for you. And just to be boldly, Jesus confronts him and says, you're going to deny me 3 times tonight. Wow.
Yeah.
What a hit.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, like, if Jesus said that to you, how would you feel? If Jesus said, hey, you're going to deny me. Here you are saying that you're going to lay down your life for me, but tonight, this very night, you're going to deny me 3 times. Not just once, 3 times. And then Jesus goes into saying, don't let your hearts be troubled, though. This is going to be some dark stuff. This is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult because you're going to lose me. I'm not going to be there, but I'm coming back.
Yeah.
You know, he says, you believe in God, believe also in me. And that's the thing that we as Christians, that we hold on to, is our faith, right? That's the thing that we have to keep in mind, is that when dark days come, when we don't fully understand, because God ultimately has a plan for our lives, that God has a thing that he wants us to go towards and pursue, that there may be dark days ahead, and we may not understand why this happened or why that didn't occur, or we thought, we're like, well, this seems perfect, or this seems great. Why didn't this take place? That we need to trust God, because his way is higher than our ways. You know, his understanding of things, he knows a lot better than we do. Yeah. And to understand that concept of, I just have to have faith. I have to believe in him.
Absolutely.
You know, all the things that we've seen, all the things that we've read, all the things that we've experienced in our own life when it comes to Christ. We may have not been there like the disciples to be face to face with him, but we see him and we know him. And so when you know him and have that relationship with him, don't lose faith.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep pursuing, because, you know, he says it. You believe in God, believes also in me. He's saying, disciples, trust me.
Yeah.
Put your trust in me. And he calls us to do that same thing. Eric, do you trust me? Do you fully trust me with your life? Do you fully trust me with what I'm doing, what I'm about? And that's what we got to do.
Absolutely.
But I kind of think it kind of leads into what you shared.
They went together well.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Nice
Gotta
and
love when
simple.
God uses stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Anyone want to add anything to that? No. We just laid it out there.
Yeah.
Fire. Well, anyway, Parker, thank you so much for being on
Thanks
here.
for being on.
You killed
Awesome. Thank you.
it. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. I'm sure you'll be on in the future.
That was wonderful.
You have passed the test. Did you ever think of your favorite actor?
Yeah. We didn't give you a chance to answer that.
Kind of forgot that was a question.
We can save that for another episode.
Or you can just rapid fire right now.
Margaret Robbie.
Ooh, yeet.
She's got range. She's
Oh.
got range.
Yeah. No, she is a good actress, actually. She really is.
Yeah.
Is that the girl that plays
Sorry,
Quinn.
you mean
Harley?
actor.
Harley Quinn?
Not
She's an
Is
actress.
that the girl that plays Harley Quinn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harley
Yeah.
Quinn. She's also in. Did you watch I, Tonya?
Mm.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was fire. But yeah,
Tarzan.
there you go.
Tarzan.
Anyway, thank you guys so
right.
much
Have a good
for
evening.
watching
See you.
the episode. Stay tuned for the next one. We're going to be talking about WandaVision here soon, so peace.